Well, hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to do a little bit of a nursery year in review. Now, it's only early October. I think we're around October the 10th. And I don't mean a year in review like January through December, but our selling season, our open season for our nursery has come to an end. And we want to talk a little bit about what we've done, what we've accomplished, what we failed at this year in our nursery, our second year full time. So as we kind of walk through this video and do what we're going to do in this video, I hope this is helpful for you guys today in some way, and that you can kind of get an idea of what's going on out here and maybe have a takeaway that's helpful to you. So let's dive in.
Well guys, welcome back, and I am Casey. If you are new to the channel, I'm not always on every video, but I am the wife, the other half to Odom's Nursery, and this year is a big deal. Like last Saturday, which was I guess the first Saturday of October, was our last Saturday to be open to the public for our nursery. There'll be online things coming up this winter, but as far as being open to the public and people being able to just stop by and come in and visit and buy plants, that has officially closed for the year.
And right now, on Facebook Marketplace, we're still selling trees and stuff, but that's by appointment. People come by our emerald green arborvitas or our green giant arborvitas, and they come by them 20, 50, 80 at a time.
Yeah.
And we just do that by appointment, but there's no set hours that we're open, which, by the way, guys, if y'all are eager to learn how to sell plants, it's a great way to sell plants. I mean, we've probably sold between 1,000 and 1,200 green giants and emerald greens combined this whole year, spring, summer, fall, and now, and we're still doing it. But you don't have to maintain regular hours in order to do that. So it's just one of those things to think about, that Facebook Marketplace is a great selling tool to sell a lot of plants. So it's just something to mention.
It's really convenient too when you do things by appointment. You don't have to have these open hours where somebody is available at all times in case somebody stops by.
You do it on your own terms.
You know when someone's coming, you know when to expect them. They come and are able to purchase plants, and then they leave. And I personally think it's really great. Yeah. It's really convenient for our family when we do that.
Yep. All right, so one thing that I wanted to mention that I was really happy about, and this is kind of an overall thing for the season, but this year, which is 2024, last year, 23, was our first year. So this, our second year full time, our overall gross sales increased this year right at 50%. So yeah, absolutely. We're really happy about that. Our margins are better than they were last year. So
Thankfully,
we actually made money in our nursery this year. So,
yeah.
I mean, that may sound kind of trite or kind of like, well, duh, you made money in your nursery. But for us doing this full time, and for this being our income, at least our primary income aside from YouTube and things associated with YouTube, it's a big deal to us to now know that we can survive off what we're making and growing out here. So that's a big deal.
Well, there's just a lot of risk involved when you change, when you stop with we had a very consistent pay salary that we were very used to, and we knew exactly how much each week, each month was coming in. It was very easy to budget and to build your life on what you were getting because you knew what was coming, and you knew it was very secure and very safe. But then when you try something new and you open a business, there's risk involved. There's always risk involved, and you never know how long, how long will it take before you can start making money, how long before it's going to grow enough that it's completely 100% supports your family. And we had a lot of safety nets in place, and we had planned the best we could as far as just knowing it was going to take a while. And we knew last year being the first year, we knew that it wasn't going to be it was going to be a lot of questions, but now being the second year, it's just really nice to know that the nursery's doing well.
Yeah, and last year, our first year, so much of our gross sales, it turned into money that was having to be put back into the business, which is normal. I mean, that's the way that businesses grow. You have to reinvest in what you're doing. So this year, so much of that was already in place since we had gotten to take care of so much of our infrastructure and our parking areas and all of that last year, this year we were able to actually start living off of what we were earning in our nursery, and that obviously was a huge thing. So just kind of to start this video out, I just really want to give thanks to God and just express my gratitude to all of our customers for how blessed we are and how blessed we have been to be able to do this now. And I mean, it's not like we've got all this money to burn and like, you know, it's not that at all.
Sorry,
but,
that was funny.
You know, people will ask us, how's your business doing? I'll say, well, we're not homeless and we haven't missed any meals. And, you know, that's kind of a lighthearted way to answer the question, but it's a legitimate answer to the question.
Another thing I would just add to that, as far as gratefulness, that we are always so grateful for any of you who watch our videos. We really appreciate it. You know, it doesn't cost you anything but a little time to watch a video, but it contributes to our business and to what we're doing just for the fact that you guys watch, or when you hit the little thumbs up at the bottom and like our videos, or make a comment. Hopefully a nice comment. but
bring on your hateful comments too. I love them.
It's just one of those things where you're contributing to what we're doing simply by watching a video or giving us a like or making a comment. Those are things that you are doing to contribute to what we are trying to do. And it's, you know, somebody I was watching on YouTube the other day, I like to watch Joshua Becker a lot, and he said, you know, it doesn't cost you any money to hit a like button on something to encourage somebody, and I just really appreciate that. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate our customers. So yes, very thankful.
Yep. Okay, that's enough of that. Down to business here. So we started our season this year in, I think it was about mid-February with a fruit tree sale, and we'd never tried to do a bare root fruit tree sale before, so I bought bare root fruit trees from a wholesaler and I bagged them. I bagged the roots up in sandbags, put a little bit of potting soil in them for moisture retention, and we sold them bare root, and we did really well with that. We didn't sell every single tree. I think we had 6 or 10 or something left over, but I think we had 120 or I don't even remember exact numbers on it.
The ones that were left were for varieties of fruit that we were not very familiar with, and I don't think our customers were very familiar with, and they just didn't buy them.
Yeah.
But anything that was familiar, any of the apple trees, and what was the other one? Was it figs?
Figs were a huge seller.
Like, they went fast, and I was kind of surprised by that. But,
you
know, somebody was looking for a fig tree.
Yeah, so figs, peaches, pears, cherries.
Cherries, yes. I
those
forgot
bean
about
cherries were a great seller. So yeah, we were really happy with the way that started out, and coupled with that, we did blueberries as well. So we had, I think, 180 blueberry plants. We sold every single one of those, and most of what I'm telling you, we did in one morning. And on this particular February morning, it was 28 degrees, and it was windy, and it didn't warm up that day, and we thought nobody's going to come. And despite all that, we sold all these trees, and we did really well on it, and it just got our season off to what I felt like was a really positive, encouraging start, knowing that, okay, people want our stuff. So, and it helped us learn something about pricing too, that our prices are not too high and a lot of that. So we started out in February really good, and the next thing that we did was opening day, which was, I forgot the exact date, but it was the very last couple of days of March.
The very last weekend of March is the way it worked out. I think it might have even been Easter weekend, because Easter was kind of early this year.
Okay.
So, but I can't remember exactly, but I just know that it was the very first or last Friday and Saturday of March.
So from fruit trees starting out to opening day, and from there it was off and running.
It was.
All right, so then that moved us into spring sales, opening weekend. It went really well, and this year we had a really different setup out here. We had added this little hut that we're in. We added an area right over here that we had filled with annuals, and by the time we opened, we had annuals. And remember that first morning, we had frost that first morning.
Yep.
We learned a valuable and expensive lesson about our annuals getting frost.
If you want to know all the details about all our horrible mistakes that first weekend, there's a video about it. Just go back to the spring and you'll see that whole first week. He literally did a video every day leading up, and then we opened. So if you really want to know all the details of the ups and downs, go check it out.
Yeah, and you know, that's just how it's going to be, I think. I mean, maybe less and less each year, but guys, we've shared this with y'all extensively. If y'all are longtime viewers here, you know this. We are not lifetime nursery people. We have not spent our lives doing this, and I'm telling you, every year we learn stuff, and a lot of it is, if nothing else, it's don't do this next year.
Yeah.
It's even if we don't know what to do, sometimes we know what not to do, and that's a valuable thing. So we try not to, repeat the same errors year after year and just get better at what we're doing, because some mistakes that you make can be expensive.
Yeah.
And that's bad for your business. It's bad for you personally. So we try not to repeat those things over and over again. And I think this year we did a better job at that than ever before. And I think next year, 2025, will be even better. So,
but if you're approaching any type of new business, you got to give yourself a little grace and know there are going to just be mistakes, and sometimes they do cost a little money. You don't want that to happen, but sometimes it just does, and you have to say, okay, it happened. Let's make a note of that, not to do it again, and you move on.
So then our spring sales went really well. That kind of moves us through the month of April into early May, which is Mother's Day. Mother's Day is always a great weekend in the nursery, and it's not just Saturday before Mother's Day. It's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They're all big days, so you want to make sure you have a lot of hanging baskets, a lot of pretty flowers, lots of perennials, all bloomed out. Everything's so pretty that time of year that if you're not open any other weekend of the spring, you got to be open on Mother's Day weekend, and that's all. It's just a real highlight for us. So we're thrilled about how that went, and week after week in the spring, they're more or less the same. Some weeks are better than others. It's kind of like, hey, I don't know what we did right this weekend, but this was a huge weekend for us. And then there are others where you're thinking, I don't know where everybody is, and you just have to know that on balance, that's going to kind of average itself out pretty well over the course of, 8 or 10 weeks of the spring, at least that we're open. And all in all, as I previously mentioned, all of that led to us having about 50% higher gross sales this year than we did last year. So we were really happy about how the spring went. And then something that we're trying to kind of really figure out is how to end the spring, because we're not open all summer long. So how are we going to end the spring is always an issue for me, trying to figure out exactly how we're going to do that. So what we decided to do was have a kind of a season end, year end, everything is, we didn't do a percentage off, but we marked our perennial stuff down $1 and advertised that pretty well, and had a 2-day kind of clearance sale. And that was the second Friday and Saturday of June, I think it was. And listen, guys, by the time you get to that time of the year, it is hot here in North Alabama. We're in the low to mid 90s every day by the 1st of June. And people just lose interest in buying plants. It's not that nobody is going to buy plants, but for us being in a rural setting, we don't have traffic driving by that just randomly stops in here. It is not worth our time or our effort to just stay open day after day, week after week through the heat of the summer for 0 or 1 or 2 customers a day. It's not worth it. There's a lot more valuable things that we can do with our time during the summer, like namely potting and propagating plants most days. Really important for us to be doing those things. In fact, we got more plants propagated this summer than I've ever done in my life in a summer before. Woo! And that will pay off next year and the year after that. So, and that's what we want to be doing. We don't want to be open all summer long. So we like being kind of seasonally open. I think it creates a sense of urgency, and our customers, it helps create a sense of, hey, we don't want to miss it while they're open. So you can love or hate the business model, or say, hey, that could be done better, because it can always be done better. But for us, it's working really well, and I think long term, that's what we want to do. I mean, 5 years from now, I guess there's a chance that we'd be open every weekend on the summers, but right now, that's not even something that I want to do.
It's just, you have to work with the resources that you have, and as Craig has mentioned before, like, we started in our backyard in a just housing development,
a subdivision,
and so to grow to this point, our resources are our family. We work this, we are a family-owned business, so we have set our business model up to what works for our family. And yes, if we were open every weekend all through the summer, we could probably be making money through those weekends.
Sure.
But seeing how that we have some alternative incomes like YouTube and some of our internet stuff, it makes it to where we can be open in the spring and we can be open in the fall, but in the summer when it's just so hot and so dry, because this summer
was bad.
We had a drought this summer and it was really hard. And I was thankful that we had that end of the year sale, because it made it to where we didn't have quite as many plants to water this summer, but we did have a lot to water. And we had a local water main break, and then we had to like get kind of resourceful about water for a few days. So all of that, it's been documented in videos if you want to go check out our long hot summer. But it was good, and the propagating is good, because we've talked on this channel over and over and over again about growing into our business
Hey, darling.
just one step at a time.
So in the summer, yes, just like now in the fall, we are not open for hours, but we're still selling plants on Facebook Marketplace and through our Nursery Facebook page. So we may offer, just because we have 10 of them that look really nice, we had about 10 really nice, big, perennial, hardy hibiscus plants. We sold those for, I don't know, $20 or $25 a piece, and people would come and get those. We sold 600 or 800 arborvitas, green giants, at least, maybe closer to 1,000 green giants and emerald greens during the summer. People just coming and getting them. So it's not like we didn't sell anything, and just a few other random plants. One day in July, we had a perennial sale on a Saturday, because I had, a couple of hundred that looked really nice. So, there are days, but we do it on our own schedule. And that's one of the things that we value so much about working the way that we work and doing what we do. So that got us back towards the 1st of September then, where we opened up for fall sales. All right, then in late summer, towards the end of July, we created and began Nursery U, which is a mentoring community for our YouTube viewers who are starting nurseries. And I could not believe how well that started out, and that we had about 96 or 99, I think there's 99 total Nursery U group members right now, and that is going great. I couldn't be happier about that. I love the pictures people are posting, the questions people are answering, how many people are being helped with resources and just troubleshooting in their nurseries every day. And the whole community of people there is really pitched in to help. It's not just me answering questions. So, guys, I want to just encourage you, if you need a community of people to help you, to mentor you, to walk with you through your nursery growing, through your aches and pains of getting started, and even well beyond being started, you need to go to nurseryu.com and check that website out. We're going to be reopening Nursery U probably at the very end of November. I'm not sure. We'll be reopening it for new enrollment. So that's become a big part of what we do, and it's going to become it's going to grow, I hope, into a bigger part of what we do going forward. So that's worth mentioning. And then from there, we moved into fall sales with mums, trees, shrubs, perennials, etc. So let's talk a little bit about fall sales.
Okay. We had some complications with the beginning of our fall sales. Our trees had a little issues. You want to give some details about that?
So a big part of what we want to do in our nursery with fall sales is we want to sell trees. I'm talking about oak trees and
weeping willows,
cherries, redbuds, ornamental
magnolias,
trees, shade trees,
pretty trees,
beautiful trees, and 80% of them, I'd say, look terrible.
They wilted on us.
We know that all of them are fine, because the issue was they got too hot and the leaves on them got damaged, and I just could not keep enough water on them in these pots. We were 100 to 105 degrees for about a week right before we wanted to sell them, and they just looked bad. And
we were under major
excessive heat warnings.
And there was nothing we could do to stop it.
So I pour a lot of money into getting these trees, and a week or 2 weeks after we got them here, they looked terrible. So our fall tree sales did not go as well as we had hoped, and that was really disappointing. It's still disappointing, but kind of through the weeks they have trickled, and we've sold, I want to say, half of them, maybe.
Once the weather cooled down and then we were able to get more water on them, a lot of them were able.
They put on new growth.
They did perk back up and put on a little new growth, and several of those we were able to sell, and we're very excited about that. But several of them we're going to repot and have to wait for spring, simply because the timing just didn't work out well.
And she says several of them half of them. I mean, it's a lot of them. So we're going to have to overwinter them and be able to sell them next spring. I don't think we'll have any trouble selling them next spring. They'll leaf out and be beautiful. But, you know, really we needed to make that money in the fall and not just sit on it all through the winter, hoping that most of them survive. I think they'll do fine. Shouldn't be any issues overwintering these things, especially freshly potted. They got plenty of room to grow in a new pot now, but it's not what we wanted to do. So it's just one of those things where thankfully we were not counting on fall sales this year to get us through the winter where we could survive. That's not the issue at all. So we had some breathing room there, and it's not like we wanted that part of our project to fail, because you don't ever want something to fail, but it did. And we kind of just broke even on it up to this point. So not good. But we had other things in our fall sales, like we had a really nice number of perennials to sell this year that we've grown ourselves through the summer or even late summer until now. Our mums finally bloomed out and looked nice, and we sold almost all of those. So,
well, we just learned from moms. We're still learning with moms. We had moms last fall, but we only had, I think, 100 of them.
A total, yeah.
And we got them much later in the season because we were still trying to find someone that distributed them that we could get them from.
We still don't have a local grower.
No, we don't have a local grower, but we do have a grower that does bring them to us. They delivered them to us, and we're very appreciative. And we had, 200, 250, something like that of mums this year. And we were able to sell all our mums, and we were very excited about that. But we learned a lesson that we got them too early.
We did, and that's on me. I mean, they brought them when I ordered them, and they just weren't ready. So
we need to wait about 2 weeks
at least
next year before we start doing that. And we can remember that because our daughter's birthday is mid-September, so we're like, do not bring them before her birthday.
Yeah, and they were budded, but they're showing no color at all, and you couldn't just look at them and even tell what was what. And
no, they're just big green balls.
And they're very slow to bloom. So once they bud, they take a while to bloom. So it's just we had to tend to them and water them day after day. We're not set up for that here. I mean, moms just require a different kind of care than most plants do. And, you know, to me, I just got sick of dealing with it. I mean, so...
Maybe in the future, we will be able to have a setup to where we can try to grow some of our own mums and deal with that. But as of right now, it was more stress than we were hoping for. We did do well, and we did well on our mum sales, and we made money on our mums. Yep. But they were more work and more stress than we were hoping for.
And if you're buying moms in from a grower to resell, you want them to be ready immediately. I mean, you don't want to have to be spending any days watering them and tending to them. You want to take them off the truck and sell them the next day, or take them off the truck and sell them that afternoon.
Or at least start. At least you hope for that.
That's the hope, and that just didn't work out that way. But all in all, the moms worked out better than the trees did.
Yes, they did.
We sold a ton of limelight hydrangeas, a ton of silver dollar hydrangeas. We have zero of either of those left that are ready to be sold. We don't have any. In fact, we were bringing out stuff to sell to people on our last day of the fall that were just they're just small liners is really all they were, and people were buying those. So anyway, we finished the fall up with kind of a get rid of it final sale, because that's just what we always do.
Yep.
With very little as far as perennials or anything else to really have to hold over for winter that we weren't already expecting to hold over anyway. Yep. So that worked out really good, and we're really happy about the way that the fall worked out. So then all of that takes us back to where we began. We're still selling our arborvitae trees right now via Facebook Marketplace.
And appointment.
Appointment, that's right. And our nursery's closed for the year. And the next things that we'll be doing in our nursery, you know, once we get a frost, and we're going to be selling plants to our Nursery U members. Plant starts like small hydrangeas. We're going to start with that in a week or so. We're going to be, what we don't sell there, we'll be offering for our whole YouTube channel, green giants, hostas, hydrangeas if we have them left. We'll just see how that goes. But a lot of attention on Nursery U, a lot of attention on YouTube is what's going to be coming up. And the next thing you know, it's going to be cold. It's going to be the holiday season. It's going to be January, and we're going to be selling fruit trees again. And you know what all that means?
We start all over.
It means we start over, and that the Odom family has lived to fight another year.
Yes.
So.
Yes, we have. Another year we go.
So we're excited about that. So guys, we just wanted to give y'all kind of a rundown of the year and what's going on, and we'll give you more updates as we move through the fall and into the winter on everything that's going on out here in our nursery. And we always appreciate you guys tuning in with us each week when we post our videos. So that's it for today. I love y'all. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.